That's a great question. So I never thought it'd always be cool to work at a tech company, but I thought like a biotech company or something to get my foot in the door. Um, Long story short, my network, someone I knew was like, "Hey, this guy would be good for the job." I got the job, but now I'm just kind of utilizing what Ashley said before was, I or maybe it was Carrie. So, like I learned something before and I can learn something new again, right? So I'm still in that like scary phase of like there's a million acronyms. I don't know what people are talking about all the time. I have to look everything up while we're having meetings. But even after 2 months, I've already started to feel myself pick up speed. So it's a lot of like on the job training, but it goes to show that so many skills from all of my scientific experiences that translated to a strategy partner at this tech company. So I think it's just really important too to remember your not only remember but to acknowledge if you haven't acknowledged yet all of the transferable skills that you're developing right now as a scientific student that can do other things.
If there might be times that maybe you do try research and you end up in a lab working on something that you're not that interested in, or whatever topic you choose you feel like might not be for you. I wouldn't say to give it up altogether. Or maybe again, kind of going along the theme, which seems to be like keep an open mind about where you're going to end up. Sometimes you think you want to research one specific topic because you are interested in it for whatever reason, and then you end up doing it and you're like, maybe this isn't as interesting as I thought it should be for me. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a role for you in some other type of realm within research. Maybe you need to switch around and try a different lab, you might need to see if you have a better fit somewhere else, just like anything else, just like any other job or experience. So also just keep that in mind, to still continue to keep an open mind, even when every now and then you might end up having an experience that isn't the best one, or what you thought it should be in your head. Had to do throughout my 20s, which was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so I started, when I first left, I was able to work for Dr. Law like pretty much immediately, which was great. But I kind of knew that couldn't really be like my terminal job for me wasn't ever to be like a research technician in an academic lab. It just wasn't really like a viable career path for me to have forever. But I did really enjoy it while I was there. So I was toying with the idea of like, maybe I'll go back to school at some point, but kind of like life circumstances for me financially, it just didn't really make sense for me to make that jump at any point. So it did get to a point where I kind of was like, what do I do now? And that was maybe after 4 years or so of like, okay, I really need to start thinking about like, I really was kind of hiding out for a while, having fun, enjoying the research with Dr. Law in the lab. But eventually I was like, okay, I need to start thinking a little more seriously about like, what do I want my life to look like long term? What kind of job do I want? And I still would say I spent a few years thinking about it then, because I thought maybe I should apply to school, but I didn't want to just spend money to get a degree that was going to have me in the same position that I was in with the years of experience that I had doing research. Because frankly, I think one helpful tidbit that I have to offer is that, right, like I have my bachelor's degree. I could go back to get my master's now, but it would give me the same job that I have now, except I would then be in debt
I
also.
remember my train of thought. So what I was saying was I finally was able to put my degree to use in the lab about like 2 years afterwards. But I still am not 100% sure what I want to do next. And I know I want to move up and still be in healthcare in the lab, but I'm like, do I need to go for my master's or further? I'll talk to Dr. A probably at least once a month or so. I'm like, am I okay? Like, am I failing? Like, should I be going to school again? What do I do next? And I know deep down, like I said, like what he was saying, like ego death, like you need to keep your head on straight. Like everything that comes to you, you need to take advantage of each experience and just, you know, move up with it. And life will kind of guide you about like your next step and what you need to do next. So right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to school or not, but yeah, so basically 2 years after graduating, I'm now in the lab.
how to kind of keep your head screwed on straight when things might be a little chaotic or things are going on crazy around you. I would say just remember your why. And if your why changes, that's totally okay. But just remember why you started in the first place. And that would be kind of like your fire burning inside you.
Right now, I want everybody to open their phone or laptop or whatever and type NIHOYTE. Click that first link. I don't know what it looks like on the phones, but find the menu. If you're on desktop, there's a menu and it says like research training, professional skills, careers, well-being. Look at all of those resources. NIH provides national resources. We provide resources, or I say we, I'm not there anymore, but I used to provide resources, right, with that team for students all over the country, all over the world now, ever since the pandemic. So check out the well-being stuff. There's professional development, but specifically since the question was about keeping your head on, we do like, there's a whole resilient scientist series. There's a mental health and well-being series specifically for biomedical researchers. There's skills and discussion groups. Like, check out that website and keep up, right? Make a register in the top right corner. It'll say register. Just register with an email. You'll get the OIT emails. There's a lot, but look at them sometimes, especially if you're feeling down or, you need a way to kind of strengthen your resilience again. So that's one physical resource I wanted to give everybody.
I feel pretty strongly about this, that you will learn everything that you actually are going to use in your life when you're like on the job. I mean, you'll learn a lot at Stockton as well, of course, but I think like there was things that I learned in class that perhaps I wasn't ready to learn yet. So hearing it or seeing it a second or even third time around when I was actually doing research is when I really, really felt like I was learning. So I think you would be surprised at how much you can both already contribute. And if you are interested and inquisitive, you're ready. That's pretty much all you need, in my opinion, to get started. And these professors know that they're getting students that aren't experts. You don't need to be an expert to start. The whole point is to learn when you're there doing research. And I think that's the best time to, if you're interested, that is the only qualification you need, in my opinion.
I like 100% agree on that. Like my major was biology and my minor was chemistry, but I still did chemistry research. And yeah, I took some chem classes, but going into that lab, it was a totally different feeling of learning that specific type of research. And now working in the lab professionally for a career, like Carrie said, I feel like I'm learning much more and enforcing the basis from what I learned from classes at Stockton, but now putting it into real life. So if you can hop on that now and get research experience while you have a professor there to help you and guide you, because that's their job. It's not you're not a professional research lab technologist right now. You're still a student, and they understand that, and they're there to help you. So take advantage now.
And and sorry, Guy, we'll get to your question in a second. But for example, me and Dr. Hartman, Nate, that's what I call him now, Nate, because we're like buddies. We went fishing together, we hung out, I went to his house, met his family like multiple times over the years. I text him regularly, like still today. So just, that's where those relationships start, is where you are right now. You have raw opportunity where you are right now.
Place to start would be maybe talking to them about maybe their graduate school experience and letting them know that you're interested in applying and what that might entail, maybe bouncing off your research ideas. It's a great conversation starter. I think that they would absolutely be able to weigh in and help you out on that path. And they might even help you shape, a direction of what you might be interested in studying. But I think that's a great place to start if you're not actively doing research with somebody. But I also think that pursuing maybe getting involved in their research projects or TAing, or even if you're not actively at Stockton, like you said, you can reach out to them and maybe try to have a Zoom meeting with them, or see whatever you can do to kind of help them out with some of their endeavors in the lab, or whether it be mentoring students or things of that nature. But I'd say just start the dialogue. I think is a really good place to start. You don't have to right off the bat ask for a recommendation letter, just get to know each other, and they want to know who they'd be writing a recommendation letter for, and you want to know more about graduate school. So I think that there's a conversation to be had there that would be helpful for both people.